Yowza, bowza, wowza, holy cowza, what's happening nowza? Spoiled the grade, off to a great start, but in my defense, I'm just back from vacation, y'all. You didn't see that. You saw nothing. Hello, everyone. I'm Brian Zane, host of the Smackdown review here on Wrestling with Regret, and I am the unconfirmed, unofficial, unauthorized WCW Hardcore Champion of Wrestling with Regret. How you doing, folks? It's night one of the draft. You got spoiled already. Why are you even here? Just get out of here. Whatever. It's Friday. Go out and have some fun. Come on, live a little. Damn, that's good. H2O. Not even 1 minute in the stream and we're already busting that old chestnut out. Whatever. I just want to say to everyone, thanks for coming by to watch the stream. To talk about Smackdown, night one of the draft. Some big moves and shakes, and then again, some not some big stuff happening. We'll get to that in a little bit. I do ask that in lieu of super chats tonight, instead of doing that, please consider donating to brightsiders.com/wrestlingwithregret. That is the site of my wildfire relief fundraiser. If you've not seen my announcement about that, at the end of this month, my plan is to shave this beautiful beard and turn it into something really sporting, a real iconic wrestling facial hair design. The four choices, if you go to that, are Hulk Hogan, Brian Cage / Lash LaRue, Jeff Hardy, and Rick Rude. I will say right now that the Hulk Hogan stash is the winner. I will not say by how much, but all the money that is donated to those votes goes to the Wildlife Relief Fund, which if you look in the description of the website, goes to the American Red Cross, Direct Relief, the California Wildfire Foundation, and the United Way of the Mid-Willamette Valley. So I'm going to get that plug out of the way right now. So please, instead of super chats, you can go donate here at brightsiders.com/wrestlingwithregret. I'm looking over here, by the way, because I've got a separate monitor which gives me real-time updates about those donations. And much like super chats, I will read the comments that you post here as well. That'll be at the end of this review. But let's begin right away with the first round of the draft. Stephanie McMahon comes out to a hero's welcome in the Thunderdome, and she announces the first picks of the evening. Raw picking Drew McIntyre, naturally, he's the champion. Asuka, same logic, she's the women's champion. And all the dang hurt business, which includes the U.S. champion Bobby Lashley and the rest. SmackDown picks Roman Reigns, their Universal Champion. Then you've got Seth Rollins, which is a big old surprise. And hang on, I'm just looking at something. Something in my chat for a second. Sorry, I got distracted by something. So anyway, yeah, Seth Rollins showing up. That's going to make the next couple weeks on Raw very interesting with the Rollins Mysterio angle. You see him backstage saying he'll never have to see Ray's ugly face with their ugly faces again. Oh, but we'll find out what happens with that. Our first match we see of the night is Falls Count Anywhere. Hang on. I'm seeing some chatter here in the chat, and I got to look this up because I just need to confirm this. Is it true that... Okay, I'm not seeing it on Twitter, so I'm not going to share what I'm seeing here in the chats right now. Are we live? Did Mark Henry die? I'm not seeing anything on Twitter. I'm seeing it on this chat. I don't want to try and break this. Don't put that on me. Don't put that pressure on me. We're going to find out what happens, but please let that not be true, is what I'm getting at here. Our next matchup, I'm sorry about that derailment, guys. Big E versus Sheamus in a Falls Count Anywhere match. They've been building this up for about a month now. It's kind of weird because they're trolling. All right, thank you. They're saying that, for the 2.5 months Big E's has been on this solo run, like half of it's been off TV for injuries, selling the injuries. So we have this Falls Count Anywhere match here. There's Bootios under the ring, which was kind of interesting callback. Feels like forever ago they were pushing Bootios. Like it's such a lifetime ago because the New Day was all about pancakes for the last year and a half. Bootios was not even on the forefront, which is weird because I don't think you ever saw them sell one bottle of New Day pancake batter. But they had Bootios, which was a product they could merchandise and sell. I don't know, so many missed opportunities in the New Day. I felt like, oh, they're selling ice cream. Because like they kind of like hinted at the ice cream thing, and instead we got like lollipop or popsicle mixes, which we tried here on the channel a while ago, and we and then the whole thing with God, I lost my train of thought. Yeah, the pancakes. Why not make a New Day pancakes with like the Bootio marshmallows in it? That seems like a no-brainer. Didn't get that. Seems like a lot of marketing decisions left on the table. A lot of money left on the table there. So Sheamus ties up Big E in the ropes, beats him with a kendo stick, and Big E follows back in kind by tying Sheamus's ankles up with the duct tape, which that was pretty interesting to see that. This spills out into the crowd part of the Thunderdome, the crowd part, into the backstage area. They're whooping guys with each other with, broom, trash can. In catering, Sheamus is like dumping flour on Big E and the eggs. Again, you had a golden opportunity to sell some New Day pancake powder or some shit. We didn't get that. Anyway, they make their way to the garage area. Sheamus hits Big E with like a tire iron, white noise on the windshield of a car, and Big E's like getting covered in cuts and blood by this point. And Sheamus, by the way, is looking worse for wear as well. Some big kendo stick welts on his back, and that's got to be, not too difficult to do for someone with as pale a complexion as Sheamus, but still that stuff hurts. Why was there flour and eggs at the catering table? Who's like mixing pancakes by themselves? Like, I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of raw materials you wouldn't normally have at a catering table. Things seem to be prepared. And most catering tables I've been at, they're cutting the budget here, we're still making millions of dollars, but you got to make your own pancakes. We can't hire anybody to do that in this place you have rented out. So Sheamus Bro kicks a trunk door clean off its hinges. Big E powerbombs Sheamus onto another car. Big ending off the car through an incredibly shaky shot of a table. I had no idea what he was actually falling into at first because the camera was like, whoa! Like, that was so unnecessary. It would have looked just as impactful if you didn't do that. So Big E wins, and that was a really satisfying match. I thought that was some good stuff. If you like the hardcore element, it's probably like the top match of the night, because this is a show, this episode's not so much about match quality, it's more about the news that's stirred up from the draft, and we'll get to more of that stuff as well. But this is a great match. And there's a post-match promo, speaking of big news, where the rest of the New Day show back up. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods pop back in, and everyone's happy. And Big E, by the way, is still selling his match here. And Xavier and Kofi say they wanted to go for the tag team championships. Big E, I don't know if it's because he's selling his injuries or because there's something else going on, because his body language does not appear to show the same enthusiasm as his cohorts. I think a lot of that has to do with selling, but they're kind of like, he's not going along with the New Day Rocks chant. He does it because, but that's about it. So I was, wondering, I was curious about that. Just a second. I got to put you in. I'll put you in timeout for now. Let's see what happens. So yeah, that was interesting body language. Thought I was going to plant seeds or something, but again, more on that later. Again, if you missed the first few seconds of this stream where I had like a bit of a spoiler at the beginning, you don't know what I'm talking about yet, probably. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We go, Jey Uso's in the ring. He calls out Roman Reigns asking, what's the stipulation going to be for Hell in a Cell? And so he doesn't get an answer at first, and Paul Heyman interrupts on the big screen, and basically he intros a hype package showing how destructive Roman Reigns is and whatnot. And then we see, the Godfather, the Don or whatever, Roman Reigns. He's sitting there all looking like a proper supervillain in his very fancy chair and desk. And he announces that their match is going to be an I Quit match in Hell in a Cell. And he says after he makes Jey say, he says he loves Jey, but after he makes him say I quit, there will be consequences. Ooh, he's so cold-blooded. And man, just thinking about the idea of an I Quit match in a Hell in a Cell after what we saw at Clash of Champions, this is going to be a hard one to watch, isn't it? This is going to be like, I don't know, this is going to be, was it top 8 anime deaths or whatever? I don't know. It's gonna be very emotional, I have a feeling. So interesting development there. It's a twist. I don't think there's never been an I Quit match in the Cell. So, I think it's cool to kind of, you can mix and match. It's been a while since they've had some real interesting stuff by way of stipulation in a Cell match. Round 2 of the draft commences. That's a lot to fit in before the next round, between rounds 1 and 2. Raw's first pick in round 2 is AJ Styles, which I immediately laughed my ass off. Like, he wants to stay as far away from Paul Heyman at all costs, it seems. Get him away. He just wants to be on his own. Get away, Heyman. I don't like you. Then they also get Naomi does Raw, so Naomi's moving to the Red Show. Then we get Nia and Shayna, the tag team champions. The women's tag titles, tag champions, are staying put with Raw, I should say. Blah. SmackDown has picked Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, which immediately, I'm going to say this right now. Last week, I forget who it was on the chat, but they were like, Brian, what happens if Bianca gets drafted to SmackDown? I'm like, don't be fucking stupid. Because they've been running the vignettes on Raw for weeks and weeks. They wouldn't move it to SmackDown. Well, shut my mouth, because that's exactly what they're doing. So, there you go. It seemed to defy logic to me. Like, come on, like, the vignettes are on Raw. She's got to debut on Raw. Damn. And so that was all they got for this round. So yeah, Sasha and Bianca were the two ladies on round 2 for SmackDown. So yeah, AJ going back to Raw. It feels like it wasn't that long ago where he was moved to SmackDown. So it's kind of hilarious. He bounces right back. We get a cell phone promo of him afterwards saying he should have been drafted in the first round and Raw is going to be phenomenal. Okay, man. As long as you don't fight Ricochet and Cedric Alexander for like 8 weeks in a row, I'll be fine with that. I'll be happy. Moving on to a match I really couldn't have cared less about, as The Miz and John Morrison took on Jeff Hardy and Matt Riddle, a match that was apparently booked by way of social media, where it's like, Matt Riddle was like, bro, and Jeff Hardy was like, hey man, and Riddle was like, bro, is basically how they described it. And so they are an unlikely tag team because they might split up after the draft, basically. They want to get this in here. Pretty open and shut case, Johnson. It's Hardy and Riddle win the day here against Miz and Morrison. But the real story is not this match itself. It's that Lars Sullivan comes back. He's got a beard now. He's got a roar sound effect in his entrance, which made me chuckle. He wrecks everyone in the ring like he was taking out his pent-up anger and confusion on a message board somewhere. Like, he's got some real repressed things he's trying to just work through. That's the kind of anger I saw, the animosity in the ring tonight by Lars Sullivan. But he's back, baby, after like a year and a half he's been gone. What a very strange, wild and woolly trip Lars Sullivan has been on since his first main roster announcement. I didn't see it coming. It was certainly a surprise. I'll say that much. Round 3 of the draft begins. Raw picks Ricochet. Awesome. Mandy Rose, and I thought it would have been amazing if SmackDown just got it right back. Just to fuck with everyone. And then Raw also gets Miz and Morrison. Well, you know, there's not much else you can do to damage their reputation on SmackDown anymore, so you might as well move them to Raw. See if a fresh start will help them. SmackDown picks Jey Uso, and the Mysterios, Rey and Dominic, are also moving to SmackDown. So forget what I said about the feud with Seth ending. Although now I'm wondering, so like, where's Aaliyah Mysterio going to get drafted? Is she and Angie going to go drafted with Rey and Dominic? Where's Murphy fit into all this? Because, I mean, we obviously don't know what's going to happen on Monday yet with the draft night too, but right now Murphy's still going to be on an island if everything else stays equal. So, at least I'm now curious how that's going to get reconciled in the next few weeks, like, if at all, or if it's going to just bleed over to SmackDown, which at that point, like, kill it. Just kill it, kill me. I'm so sick of that angle. I don't need to see that on SmackDown now. I don't want to talk about it live. I have a hard enough talking about it in canned format on Raw every week. And talk about it live on SmackDown Fridays? No, please, don't do it. And poor Ricochet, I guess, is what I have to say in the last part of that round. Up next, SmackDown Women's Championship match as Bayley, I should say, defends against Sasha Banks. And Bayley DQs herself within minutes, hitting Sasha in the gut with a steel chair. Sasha recovers and is able to beat up Bayley with the chair for a bit, goes to Pillmanize her neck, like what Bayley did to Sasha, but Bayley escapes and lives to fight another day. Later in the night, Sasha cuts what could best be described as a promo from a babyface perspective and challenges Bayley to a cell match at Hell in a Cell for the Women's Championship. So, I mean, I don't know how, it's like the way they built to that point. I don't know if we needed to have, like, a match tonight to determine that. Especially when Sasha didn't do anything to earn the match in the first place, I don't think, that she got. So I was questioning the logic of them going about it at all. And then the way they ended it the way they did, just to set up a proper match. But it feels like this angle's really sputtered since the breakup. The breakup was the last real interesting part about this thing. And, they got to drag this on. I don't know why you couldn't have just written Sasha off for a little bit with that neck injury. I think they're really rushing her back. And unless this match, coming up the Hell in a Cell, is meant to write her off for a bit, now that Bianca Belair is coming to SmackDown, maybe we could see something interesting shake up with her as kind of like a stopgap rival for Bayley until Sasha is fully healed or whatever. But again, pure speculation. So that, I thought, it was kind of an interesting way to go about it. We get a shot backstage of Alexa Bliss approaching Kevin Owens. He's getting ready for his match, and she just says, let him in, go to commercial. We then go to our next match, the impromptu SmackDown tag title match, as the New Day, Kofi and Xavier, are just dropped right back in the thick of things to challenge Cesaro and Shinsuke Nakamura. That was announced, by the way, earlier in the night once you saw them come back. So, yeah, Xavier Woods back in action for the first time in, like, almost a year. I think I forgot when he got hurt, but, yeah, it's been a while since he's been there. Been back on TV on, like, the SmackDown, Talking Smack, I should say, and the Raw Talk for a while. So, back in the ring here. These guys look pretty good. They haven't lost much of a step, from what I could tell, at least. And, it was a good match. That if they were given more time, they could really ramp up the quality of it. But it was what it was for as relatively brief as it was. New Day win. Xavier and Kofi win, just clean as a whistle, which is kind of surprising. Like, Cesaro and Shinsuke didn't have a whole lot to do. I don't know. I feel as champions, like, what was our real main feuds? What programs they really have as SmackDown Tag Champs? Like, the stuff with the Lucha House Party was one thing. They had the 2 or 3 week thing with the Street Profits, which didn't really go anywhere after that. And not every championship reign is going to be epic, so I guess I shouldn't be too surprised that this ended so abruptly, and we'll maybe see a rematch down the line. But yeah, so tag titles change hands. New Day are riding high once again. Round 4 of the draft comes along. As they're celebrating, we find out that Raw has selected Kofi and Xavier, and that SmackDown has drafted Big E. So, Raw was able to draft the entire Hurt Business, but SmackDown didn't think to draft the entire New Day, or Raw didn't think to draft the entire New Day, or whatever. And you could argue the writing was on the wall when Kofi first gave Big E the blessing to, go his own way as a singles guy while he was hurt and everything. And by the way, Dana Brooke and Angel Garza on Raw, cool, and Otis on SmackDown. So that's the rest of that thing. But as far as New Day being broken up after more than 5 years as an act, feels like longer almost. It's just shocking in a way. You didn't really expect it to end that way. Although it's funny because during the Falls Count Anywhere match, Sheamus yells at Big E, "No more unicorns, fella!" Like, damn, he was prophetic. No more unicorns because the New Day's broken up. So people have talked about the New Day breaking up forever. And, I've talked about that on and off over the years. But for it to happen this way, at least this way, there's no dramatic heel turn. There's no, attack to break these guys up. I mean, knock on wood. They have a farewell match next week, so we'll see what happens. So, is the breakup storybook? We'll wait and see. I hope they don't Dudley Boys this split. I hope that they commit to pushing all 3 guys in their respective shows and make it work, and don't just try and haphazardly, put them back together within the year. Make it count is all I'm saying. Because if you're going to, pull the trigger on a breakup like this with, no build in this kind of, arguably lackluster sort of way, then, one of your biggest acts and one of your biggest merch movers and one of your most over things you've done in the last decade, to have a breakup that way, make it count is all I'm saying. Make it worth our while. Backstage, we see Otis and Tucker on getting ready for the legal proceedings surrounding Miz's injunction on Otis, or whatever the fuck they're doing. And then finally, Otis is served with a notice saying that the trial has been delayed. There's a continuance. So we're just doing some of this, baby. We're just dragging this out for one more week. Never mind the fact we plugged the fact that we were doing this shit this week. Nope. We had to Move it along. Kick that can down the road. So we'll see where that ends up. Your main event is Kevin Owens versus Fiend Bray Wyatt in his first match on SmackDown, which is so bonkers to me that this dude has been on SmackDown, I'm pretty sure, since the beginning of the Fox run. So about a year now, Wyatt has been on SmackDown, or at least the Saudi show, 1 or 2 weeks later. So like not that much after this, so almost a full year. And he's not wrestled a match the entire time. That is pretty... a remarkable restraint. So good on you, WWE. It sucks that it had to be, wasted on the Thunderdome in front of no real fans. But, I think it's cool they waited that long. Like, he's been a pretty vital part of SmackDown in one form or fashion since he got drafted. Since he became the Universal Champion last year. And, whatever you want to say about his booking, I think it's amazing they waited this long to put him in a match on television on Fox. So this match starts out very Fiend-like. He just beats the hell out of Kevin Owens for a long time. KO's got a brief glimpse of hope with some super kicks and some cannonballs. A frog splash onto the floor from the apron. Kevin slams Fiend to the announce table, but he avoids a cat out. Fiend's able to get back up in time. Puts a mandible claw on KO, who tries to fight out of it with a stunner, but the Fiend holds on. Uranagi keeps the claw locked in, and he wins by pinfall here. Pinfall, submission, whatever you want to call it, for the claw and everything. So I thought it was a really good Fiend match. I thought it was a good performance for that point, for it to be the Fiend's first match on television. I think it delivered. It was on brand for his character. Kevin had a great fight in him in that match. His comeback was very big and everything. So after the match, the lights cut out. They come back up and we see Bray on stage with Alexa Bliss, and they're gonna kiss. They're gonna kiss. Now you think they will for a second because they just have that look in their eyes. But then they just got to turn it. Kevin Owens for a second. They look back at each other. They're gonna kick. Spooky cut to black. And so we don't. That's where it ends. We don't know what their schemes and their plans are going to be for them yet. We don't know. Maybe they know. Hopefully. But yeah, it's weird because it ends on the. It ends on the cutaway spooky cut, and then, well, one more announcement, one more reminder that Roman Reigns and Braun Strowman is happening next week with no build, and that's, we'll see what happens with that one, I guess. So yeah, that's how the show ended. I think there was a lot of big stuff. I mean, big-ish stuff, and I'll get to that in a second. If you didn't see it already, well, here it is again. There's that grade. Why are my donations don't appear to be updated right now because I want to get to them. I sure do. Says the fund has not gone up since I started, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, C+ for me. I think that again, the match of the night was Sheamus and Big E in the Falls Count Anywhere match. The return and the breakup of the New Day happening in like a 1-2 punch was certainly a bold choice, I would have to say. It's a risky move. Like, you can't expect any creative endeavor to stay complacent. And like I said, people have been kind of like wanting or fantasy booking or kind of like predicting the split of the New Day for a long time. So we don't know how it's going to end officially in their farewell match next week. But I think that's like it could go in a lot of different directions. And like I said, they really should. If they're gonna make that bold risk, then it's got to pay off, or you got to at least put that effort in to make it pay off. So we'll see what happens with the Kofi and Xavier on Raw and Big E on SmackDown from here on. Post y'all's grades in the chats as well. And I don't know why I'm not getting updates on this thing, because this website is fairly good at updating it. Like, you could see the numbers like go up as people donate. Let's see here. But yeah, that's what I've got here. Those would be my notes and my thoughts. Do demons have tongues? Well, this one does. The Fiend does. You don't know. Yeah, I think it is time for the New Day to move on. Like, they've done all they can. I mean, the fact that they even won the tag belts again, especially with like no build to it, I thought was pretty bold. Like, oh, let's give them the belts again. Like, why? Who really knows? Like, hopefully that'll elevate them to something. And I guess you have the Street Profits maybe going to SmackDown now, and they'll just kind of switch the belts. I don't know what they really do with that. A wild super chat has appeared. The Joey AM with a $2 super chat is the Big E match. Oh, compare this to the parking lot brawl. Oh, if you're comparing this to Best Friends and Proud and Powerful, Santana and Ortiz. Jesus, I don't know what happened there. That match, I think that the AEW one was far superior, a lot crazier for sure. I mean, Big E and Sheamus was still a great match, like for that style. So I really had no complaints about it. But I think as far as like a match that entertained me more on the whole, was like beginning to end, probably the parking lot fight, Best Friends and Santana and Ortiz. Sorry, don't mind me, folks. I'm trying to just see if this is updating, because either none of y'all have been donating, or this is not wanting to update right now. But yeah, they were great. As far, I mean, don't ask me questions about Dynamite or NXT this week, because I did not watch them. I was still on vacation, so when it was happening, I tried to watch some highlights. I watched a bit of the Jericho Luther tag match, and I was disappointing. I think I felt bad because it wasn't the best match in the world. There was definitely some slip ups, and I feel for them, because it's like that's a match where it's the one time it's going to really count, and you just want to be good, But it's not. It is too bad. Oh shit! I didn't get the date right on the title. No. I'll have to fix that later. But thank you for correcting me on that one. Yeah, that match is not online yet, as far as I can tell. But I actually wrestled Luther many years ago. Yeah, let me just drop that. Let me pick up that name I just dropped. Yeah. No, it was my second or third ever match with Portland Wrestling in like 2006. It was me and Rick Luxury versus Luther and Paul Zadora. So I took another Zadora chokeslam. Got the face pull, which is like a camel clutch with like grabbing from the face like this by Luther, and that was the finish. And then the team I was with beat the fuck out of me afterward, and like Rick Luxury hit me with a top rope leg drop and sat like all ass, like boom right here. I will never forget that. I'm like, oh my god, how my face does not break under the weight of that ass coming down from the top rope. And I don't think he did the Luxury tax much after that, so I'm glad I was one of his final recipients of that. First Love Smokers and Barbecue $2 Super Chat. Fiend and Bliss looking for a new member. I was speculating in the Raw review last on Monday that maybe they'll add Aleister Black or something. I'm not sure. Oh yeah, I tapped all right. Yeah, I tapped out to that one for sure. Still no donations as far as I can see on brightsiders.com/wrestlingwithregret for my wildfire fundraiser. But I will say that over $2,600 have been raised since last weekend, which is phenomenal. And like I said earlier, I'm going to add $1,000 to that. So right now about $3,600 going to those 4 different charities. So thank you all who have been donating so far. And Bingo Bango, we just got another one. Drail 2089 just posted a $10 donation. And interesting, if not overkill idea, would be a 3 Stages of Hell match within Hell in a Cell. Ooh. Yeah, I mean, it does sound like a wee bit overkill. You'd have to really try and utilize the space, I think, at all 3 levels. But I think that's an option. That's something you could do. Like, that's definitely something people have done, I feel like, in the 2K games, in the match creators. So... yeah, that'd be fun. Like, what kind of match types would you do? Like, a tables match could be one of them. Maybe I Quit, or some kind of submission thing, or like blood sport, like knockout. Kind of like Fight Pit, basically. Knockout or submission only. That'd be kind of a fun spin on that. Mike R with a $5 super chat. My thoughts on Alberto Del Rio being indicted on kidnapping charges. I've not heard about that. But fuck him. If he's found guilty, I don't know the details of that case. I remember the mugshot showing up on my Twitter feed today, but I didn't know why yet. So that's really good timing, because I will say next week's video does make a crack at Alberto Del Rio for being a piece of shit. And it's an evergreen, apparently. It's a good thing that I wrote it the way I did. Trakes, $5 super chat. USA Network looking very SMRT by picking the Hurt Business, but just Kofi and Woods after. I will say about the USA Network thing, I'm surprised they didn't just use the same old draft footage with the executives, like in the draft rooms, like they did last year, and like, it was the same footage between like SmackDown and Raw, so they didn't change their clothes at all. I'm surprised they didn't just reuse that footage again. Well, 5 to 99 years. Wow. Yeah, it was weird. Like, they could have got the Hurt Business and the entirety of the New Day, but I guess USA and Raw had other ideas. Who's to say? Let's see here. Yeah, and Retribution. I'm so confused about what they're doing with that right now. Because, well, I'm not confused. I don't know. Confused is part of it, I guess is a word to use to describe it. But also, I think, just curious how they're going to roll the punch here of Mustafa Ali being the new leader, it seems. I am going to really quick, just for those of you who are tuning in and have not seen it yet, who don't know all the neat info, I got you, man. Boom! Draft night 1 for Raw and SmackDown. You can see this is the list, and Raw got more people because Raw was 3 hours as opposed to SmackDown's 2. Try to abbreviate some names to make room, as you can see. You know, Big E needed obviously his own abbreviation for the draft list. Otis, but not Tucker, is a bit disappointing. We'll see what the writing on the wall means for that, or if Tucker's just going to stay around. What are they doing, man? What heavy machinery? It's like they don't know how to write their way out of that stuff with Otis' Money in the Bank, I don't think. Big fella, thanks. $5 super chat. Are there any classic pay-per-view matches from the pre-negative star era? I love that it's being broken up that way now. That you would go back and retroactively rate in negative stars. Would any get -5? Like, if I wouldn't give the matches from this week for Halloween Havoc 95 -5 stars, I'm hard-pressed to think of what would get -5. Maybe Bash the Beach 2000, maybe Jarrett Hogan. I don't know. Like, it's got to be... Well, it was bad and insulting. So I guess that is an option as well. What other ones will I knock down to negatives? I think Vampiro on the Wall was it Vampiro on the Wall? Who the fuck? Yeah, it was Vampiro in Berlin. Vampiro in Berlin, I think. From Mayhem, I want to say. That match is so shit. I think that was already a negative some odd stars match. I might just go back and give Van Hammer and Doug Summers -5. Just go back and rate it again, which is worse. I've not seen Jenna and Sharmell yet, but I'm sure that's going to get it. Chamber of Horrors match. That was in the negative star era. I don't think it was. Undertaker and Gonzalez definitely would be negative stuff. I don't know. It's a good thought exercise. Some more donations have been rolling into brightsiders.com/wrestlingwithregret. Now, I'll read some of those comments right now. Danny R. with $69. Nice. He asks, he doesn't have a question. He goes, hope you're all ready for a forced Rollins versus Reigns faction war. Much love from the land of Don Owen. Oh, well, thank you. Another Pacific Northwest fan. Great to hear. Nice donation amount. Mike B. with $10 donation, not super chat. I've been hounding you to, I don't know why it's in quotes, but I'm sure the movie makes a reference to that, to review Grunt the Wrestling Movie. Recently watched it again. It's not as horrid as I remember, but the soundtrack is gold. I've actually, people have been asking me to review Grunt for ages, and, I want to, but every time I try to get into watching it, I'm like, oh, this is actually a funny movie. I can't knock on this movie because it's like a satire. It's supposed to be goofy and cheesy, and I've not been able to get past the first half hour of this movie because something else will come along. But it's it's hard for me to come up with good jokes for it so far. I have to just sit down and concentrate and just just try and give it my all, man. Because I do want to review Grunt. I really do. It's been asked to death by fans, and I definitely want to do that, as well as the film I Like to Hurt People. So those are somewhere in the future, but they're not scheduled now. Will I review the WTF episode of South Park? I did really quickly in a way in my Wrestlers... It was the Wrestling and Cartoons episode. I talk about that for a bit. That's probably the most I really had to give to that one, honestly. A song for really bad classic pay-per-views. Ooh, that'd be a good song idea. for sure. Yeah. H2O break. What do I do? A top 8 guilty pleasures matches countdown? Maybe. Like, I have to think about it, I guess. It have to be like really bad matches that I also just enjoyed a lot, like Oz and where the fucking guy was debuting against, whoever he debuted against at Super Brawl. Is the Doomsday Cage match minus stars? I feel like it is. I feel like it wasn't that long ago I reviewed it too, so I forget. Tomko, Stevie Richards. Oh my god, I know what you're talking about. That match from Unforgiven in Portland. I'm glad I didn't see that show live and in person. Jesus. That was the worst. Tim Parker. Yes, thank you. Let's see here. While we're here and while we're plugging our stuff, I've already plugged Brightsiders a bit. That's my fundraiser URL where you can vote on which facial hair you want me to have for a week at the end of the month / beginning of November. Let's see here. What else can I plug? Let's get rid of the draft night graphic here. The Gargoyle shirt is still available at prowrestlingtees.com/wrestlingwithregret. It is available just for the month of October. Once November 1st hits, this bad boy is gone. It is says, "Here lies the wrestling business. It was killed by mystery." It's kind of a fill in the blank, choose your own adventure kind of thing. Also, I'm just going to say right now that happening on Friday this month, on the 23rd, noon Pacific time here on the YouTube channel, you will see myself, Colt Cabana, and April Hunter do a live watching and riffing of one of the worst wrestling movies of all time, just another romantic wrestling comedy. You've heard me talk about this this shit. I was going to say show instead of a movie, but it also worked for me to say shit, so I'm going to say this shit multiple times over the years. It is truly one of the worst. I really wanted to do this in Tampa for WrestleMania weekend, but it did not happen for obvious reasons. So, really excited to do it in kind of a live Zoom call chat kind of format with Colt Cabana. Of course, he's with AEW now, former NWA World Champion. April Hunter, who not only has a lot of experience in wrestling over the decades in WCW and TNA, and my favorite, Women's Extreme Wrestling. She also starred in this movie as one of the female leads, Diamond Piedra. So go check that out. That's happening on October 23rd, and I hope to see you all there. That's going to be really fun. That's the picture when Brian goes to the strip club. Yes, exactly. That is me every time. Oh, Jesus. People were asking where was Wednesday Warfare. I was on Wednesday vacation. I was way the far fuck away from work for a couple of days because I really wanted to have some vacation time with my family. And so I'll try and catch. I have not watched the dog collar match yet. I don't know what else happened on NXT that was worth looking at, but saw a little bit of snippets on YouTube. So yeah, there was no Wednesday Warfare, and I thought I gave a little bit of notice on that on the Raw review, but I understand if people missed it. Dale Larson with $5 New Zealand dollars. Another idea for videos: top 8 worst multi-time champions. Ooh, that is, yeah, that's a thought. That's a thought for sure. Way to sell a back elbow. Yeah, I put up a new regrettable match this afternoon. Me and Izzy are back again looking at one of the last matches I ever had as in the same year I had transitioned from wrestling to managing. I still have 1 or 2 matches that I was put in, and this one was for the WCWC Tag Team Championships, which I was holding on an interim basis on that night. And so you can go watch and see the madcap results of that matchup. The worst move I've taken. I don't know what the official name of this or what the more colloquial name of this movie is. It's called the Riz Bomb here on the West Coast. It's from the Stoner Brothers back when they were called the Suburban Commandos, where they held you on either side kind of like a swing kind of thing, and they would throw me up in the air. And then it comes down kind of a powerbomb neckbreaker combo. And it looks really sick. And the first time I ever took it, it felt like butter. I was like, not only did I take the bump, I also just kind of spun a little bit on the bounce. And everything felt good. You hit the time at the exact same moment. And it felt great. Second time I took it, wasn't great. And then the third time I took it was like, my ass landed first, then I came down on my back, and that fucked me up for days. And I've never taken any move that high impact since. You know what hurt me the worst, though? Was last year, I took a DDT from Dave Dutra, and I fucked my own neck up. So, if you go on Reddit and find it, someone says, "Great sell" by Brian Zane. Yeah, terrific sell. I felt my neck crunch when I came down on it, because I fucked up. My pants were down around my ankles. I was out of whack, and like, I wasn't ready for it. He came down and dropped me. I couldn't get my hand up in time. It was like, crunch. Oh, fuck. It was the scariest thing in my life. I thought I was going to break my neck. Honestly. And so I feel like I'm still kind of feeling the results of it to this day. No ill will or anything, but it was just like, it's one of those things where I probably should just take better care of myself when I'm in the ring. I'm going to wrap this up in 1 minuto here. Thank you to those who have donated to the West Coast Relief Fund on brightsiders.com/wrestlingwithregret. It's really awesome. We still have the whole month of October to raise money for this great cause. We're just at about $2,700 right now, and plus the additional $1,000 I'm going to be contributing to it at the end of the month. And I can say right now that the Hulk Hogan stash is in the lead. I will not say by how much in order to try and sway the voting, but I will say that it is in the lead. And I guess I'll rank the rest of them. It's Hogan, Jeff Hardy, Rick Rude, and Brian Cage / Lash LaRue. That is the rankings, but I will not tell you the degree of how much. But yeah, if you go to brightsiders.com/wrestlingwithregret, and if you want to vote on which stash or beard I have for a week next month, then feel free to do that, man. And that's where I'm going to wrap this up. This has been a lot of fun. Thank you so much for welcoming me back into your home for the Friday Night Smackdown review this week. Hopefully the plan next week is for a full slate of videos. Get your Raw review, your Wednesday Warfare, your Smackdown review. And what is next week's video? Oh, it's going to be a top 8 worst face turns video. Yes! You guys have been wanting this video for a very, very long time. For years, in fact, ever since the worst heel turns video came out. And now it's going to be happening. You will get your worst face turns video. What is the yin to the yang that was worst heel turns, which is one of the first real big videos I had. It was the first video I ever did that was 1 million views. I'm not sure with the way YouTube is just kind of set up now as far as the algorithm. I don't know if we'll get to that point or how soon we will, but worst countdowns tend to do better on YouTube than best. That's just from my experience. I know, yes, The Miz is going to be on that list. Don't you worry. I can tell you right now. That fucker's getting on the list. Twice. But always remember, folks, the influencer loves ya. I'm Brian Zane, and I'll see you next time.